need to put on some comfy pants. I'm sorry. I'll try. I wore pants just for you. And a cute shirt. Oh, God. And I blowed out my hair. This is what it looks like when it's blowed out. The only thing that's been on my hair is a hairbrush and a blow dryer. And this is how this cut comes out. The butterfly cut. The back, I'm scared to see what it looks like. As long as it looks good from the front, I'm going to rock with it. I just hit the hell out of my elbow. I still got those bandaged up from the bike accident. So I was in a bicycle accident. And I got to tell y'all something about that that's funny. Not about my bicycle accident, but this lady that I saw. Hey, Robin. This lady I saw at the Dollar General. She was funny. A worker over at the Dollar General. She crashed a moped. I was in there. And I had to go get coffee. And I was at Dollar General and I was buying Band-Aids. And I told the woman I had on short sleeves. And I said, yeah, I've been reckless. I was in a bicycle accident 2 weeks ago. And she looks at my shoulder. She's like, oh, God. I was like, yeah, road burn. I said, it ain't that bad. It's healing. She said, you sound like me. She said, my son and I, her and her son, and I'd say she's probably 45 at the most. She ain't even 10 years older than me. She said her and her son were on this moped and they were playing around. And she said, hold on, I'm going to let loose on this thing. I said, oh my God, she sounds like me. And about that time, she crashed. And when she crashed, she was able to kind of push her son one way and her and the moped went a different way and the moped hit her. Well, it broke her shoulder. It messed her up pretty bad. She said she was down for about 90 days, for about 3 months before she was whole again. And she says that she still has pain in her shoulder from that incident. Maybe I should learn from my mistakes and hers. Maybe God put her in my life this afternoon so that I don't get a dirt bike. Because y'all know I've been looking for one, a street legal one. So if I just had something like that, a moped, an e-bike, a dirt bike, which is what I've been looking at, then I could actually go to different little towns and surrounding areas to work in Starbucks, work in the library. I could have a gym membership. It would open up so many doors for me, that resources, just having a moped or something that has an engine that'll get me from point A to point B without me having to bicycle 20 miles in the heat or the cold, you know. So I told you guys that I was interested in this one bike. It was a black and green Apollo 250, which is too big for me, but he had it marked at a decent price, and I actually was trying to see if he would lower the price some, because the price he had it listed at is actually closer to the new price rather than being on discount. And it's not it is a new bike. So anyways, I messaged the guy and he acted like a complete idiot. I think it was a child. I think it was a child. He called me bro after he knew my name was Brooke. I ain't got but so much patience, and I have to save what patience I have for important things. I blocked his ass. Sure did. Listen, when I say I got $1,000 in cash, honey, you better take it and kiss my ass, you know? Like, he couldn't talk. He did not know how to communicate. And if I come to you with cash in hand, ready to do business, you better talk some sense, because if you're incapable of talking sense, I'm going to think you're a crook. I'm not going to trust you. You don't seem like a reasonable, stable person that I want to buy something from. Do you get what I'm saying? Man, I was like, the audacity of this kid. Block. He was like barking commands. He's like, when can you be in South Carolina? Like, what? I thought you were selling a bike. Anyways, and I would have met him halfway if he was talking English. And he spoke English. It was his first language. His name was Eric, and he was an idiot. And so I couldn't trust that Eric was going to sell me a bike that was worth a darn because he seemed, you know, irresponsible, unstable, mentally unwell. When you don't know how to communicate, it bothers me. Yeah, big time. I will literally never talk to you again. Anyways, it was crazy. Yeah, so I think I need to learn from that lady over to DG, though. Hello. Hey, Dan. You can't see my title? Is there no title on this? I thought it said, let's chat or something. I could have swore I put a title on this. Oh, are you talking about... Oh, yeah. Oh, you're talking about the bike title. I'm slow. You're talking about the bike title, right? Right? Could you imagine? I'm like, are you ready to sign the title over? And he's like, oh, I don't have a title. It's like, what? Like, I've got to get this thing inspected and registration. Like, exactly, Robin, exactly. It was one of those situations. It's like, I can tell by the way that he's talking, yeah, this might cause me financial problems or legal problems. Could you imagine buying a damn stolen bike? That's a criminal charge. That's obtaining property under false pretenses, homie. That's a misdemeanor. You can serve time for that. Absolutely not. So if you ever hear from me personally, you better be talking sense, because the block button is my favorite friend at work and in my personal life, okay? Yeah, he posted the bike. It was a really nice Apollo 250. That was another thing. I asked him how much the bike weighed, and he did not know. And that freaked me out. I'm like, wait a minute. If he's a seasoned vet, he knows how much that bike weighs. If he's rode that bike, if he's raced that bike, he knows how much that bike weighs. So that was a huge red flag. When I said, well, I know it's a 250. I said, my 150 Honda was 198. I said, how much is that Apollo 250? Because that's significantly bigger. Well, not significantly, but it is a jump up. So I did not know if I would be able to touch ground. And as it just so happens, I would not be able to touch ground. I would be teeter-tottering like I was when I used to ride a 250. So, and it's too heavy. I mean, it's not too heavy, but I want something that's comfortable if I was to get something, a 125, a 150. So he didn't know details about stuff that he should. And that was a huge red flag. Huge. Hey, Mural. I hope I'm saying that right. Merle. Hello, Leon. Andy. Welcome. There's Jake. Yeah, that's what I think, Jake. That's what I think. Maybe that was God. You know, the way that he was talking. Maybe God was like, Merle. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, he sounded like a kid. When he called me bro, I was like, I got to go. Like, I know that I get on here and I joke with you guys and I say bro and homie and I use vulgar language, but you guys have heard me on professional phone calls. I got a whole nother voice. Yes, ma'am, this is her. Like, you know, like, I just feel like you have to kind of be two different people on the phone in certain settings, and the way that he responded was just red flag after red flag, and I was just like, this is sketchy. I'm going to get robbed. That's another thing. What if he doesn't have a bike to sell? What if it is a robbery? Show up and no bike, and you're like, where's the bike? And he's like, shut up, get in a basket. I don't know. You know, it's scary though. It's scary. You don't know who you're meeting off of Craigslist. Shit. You better be careful. You end up on America's missing list. Who calls a woman bro? No doubt. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm Brooke. He said, I'm Eric. I was like, thank you, or nice to meet you. I was like, I'm very interested in the bike. I was wondering if you could come down on the price some. Blah, 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 blah. He completely blew off my line of questioning. That's a red flag. You know, you ever been on a dating app and you talking to a guy and you ask him a question like, do you have kids? Or, have you ever been married? And he completely ignores your question. Stay away from people like that. That's evasive. And people that are evasive, they hide things. They lie about things. They don't answer your questions, because if they answered your questions, then they tell on themselves. So when I asked him, what did I say again? Oh, I said, could you come down on the price? He completely ignored me. And from that moment on, I knew that he was a game player. I knew that he was manipulative, and I knew he was conniving. That's why I blocked him. Do not ignore my questions. You know what I mean? And especially when you're supposed to be like selling an item and the question is about said item. It's just like someone that you would talk to on a dating app, or a boyfriend or a girlfriend that you have that don't, you ask them a question in text and they completely blow that off. Stay away from people like that. That's all I'm saying. They're very secretive. They're sneaky. It's a red flag in business or relationships. It's crazy. Poor customer service. No doubt. I wish I could rate him. I'd give him a 2-star out of 10 just because he did answer the phone. But other than that, I mean, when he said his name was Eric, I was like, oh, thank God. Okay. I mean, I don't know what a bad name would be. Ted Bundy, Charles Manson. I don't know. But, it just seemed like, and he said he was in South Carolina. I'm like, oh, this is probably some grown man that, used to race and it's got out of it and took good care of his bike. He probably changed the oil every time he come off the track. He probably changed the filter, That's how I initially felt about it. And then I told him, I said, I want to get in contact with the DMV to see what I need to do. And I also need a motorcycle license, and I had to set up an appointment for that. So that's why I took that pre-test online. So I said, can I contact you Monday? And so he was like, yeah. And I think this was last Monday, or was it this Monday? I can't remember, but I contacted him on Monday about pricing. And then that's when he was like, bro, and he's like, I just got home from work. And he's like lingering, like he's like, this is nails on a chalkboard. That's small talk when I'm trying to do a business deal, It's like, I don't care. Like, you posted a bike and now you're telling me your life story? Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. This is why I block people. And people say that I'm not screwed right, but I don't know about that. Because he was clearly the problem in this business arrangement. He was clearly the problem, but whatever. Whatever. I'm good, Rick. How are you? I am good. Y'all, so I went to storage. Clearly, I have a computer. I have clothes. This is not a Stanley. This is a Walmart cup that I got for $12. $13. In the process, though, look what I found. Let me tell you something. So I must have got this iPhone right after I started this channel, or right before. The YouTube channel is set up on an old phone. Well, I ain't been able to find this phone, so I ain't been able to have really control over my channel because I didn't have the main phone. I don't know if any of this makes sense, because it don't make sense to me. But every time I try to go through the phone that I have now to change things on my channel, it tells me to open up this phone. Well, I haven't had this damn phone to open up. Something about the Google account. I don't have my life together. It's my fault. Okay. However, I found the phone. I fixed the problem. I'm so happy. Like, seriously, when I was able to sign in, I literally almost cried out of excitement, because this has stressed me out for 1.5 years. So I didn't want to talk about it because what's the point, But in the process, I noticed that I have all of these freaking phones that are nice. So I don't throw my phone away. I've been keeping my phone since my first flip phone, which was a Virgin Mobile back in 2004. That's when I got my first phone. I was working a job at Sonic, and my parents said that I could get a flip phone to call them to come get me from work. That's the whole point of a phone. So there was no internet on it. There was no fancy touch screen back then. It was a basic 5 minutes. And those minutes, you went through those minutes, honey. If you wasn't careful, you'd spend $500 on your phone. Okay. If you were an irresponsible teenager with a job, you'd spend $300, $400, $500 on a phone because you had to buy the minutes back then. But anyways, I've got this awesome phone, Cool Pat. It's actually got it's Android. It's got the fingerprint. And I got it all set up this morning. I got my YouTube signed in. It does not have service. However, it is Boost Mobile. So if I needed to add a line for filming, I could. I also found this one, which is also an Android. I like the Androids because they last longer. The battery. iPhone batteries do not last. This is a Motorola. Also has fingerprint identifier on the side to let me in, as you can see. And you know, it's crazy because most of these phones literally still have the damn home screen on them. I don't know where they come from. I don't know how long I've had them. I don't know why I got so many phones in great condition. I don't know. But, you know, I got another bag of about 16 at the storage shed. The way I see it, with my supply of cell phones, I should be able to film content for at least the next 10 years with no problems, okay? Now, that does not include the service. That's just the devices to get me through. But, you know what it is? I'll tell you how I got all these nice phones. Every year, Boost Mobile used to give you a free phone. These were free phones. So every 12 months, when I would go into Boost Mobile, they'd say, hey, you ready for your free phone? I did that for about 6 years. They don't do that anymore. Not only do I have these two, but I also have 2 iPhones, 2 iPhone 6s that are brand new that came from Boost Mobile as well. That were free phones. Yes, they used to give you a free Apple. You would have to pay an additional maybe $100, but they would give you a free Apple. They would take the cost of one of their free phones and they would apply it towards the Apple and you would pay the difference. Anyways, I grabbed the Androids because those are my favorite, and also needed this one for my content to get into my main account. Maybe now that I have free roam of my own damn page and I can change things and fix things, maybe now things will get easier and I can somehow get those hate channels blocked from stealing my content. It's still going to be a slow process because I am homeless and I don't have resources to do everything today, you know? I'm so excited to have those phones. It does suck that they're Boost Mobile because y'all know I'm trying to get away from Boost Mobile, but I just got to do with what I got. You know, I got to do what I can with what I got right now. So that's what I plan to do. You know, one thing I noticed is that these phones work better and quicker. They do. Especially this one. Like, it just comes on so much quicker. And like, look at me. Look at me and my bougie ass back in the day. That's when I lived in that $1 million house. This is the phone that I had. And it literally just works so good. Like, everything that I need it to do, it does it quickly. It turns on quickly. Like, I got Wi-Fi right now. And the battery lasts 4 times what this battery lasts. I'm telling you, they're literally manufacturing these things so that they're worse off. It's in the benefit of them. It's always about money. Don't make no sense. Yeah, this is a nice phone. I wish I could make this my main. I might do that. Well, this was the control. This was the main phone. I can do that. I can switch service from this one to this one. And then, yeah, I can do that. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm definitely grateful. As soon as you know where it was? It was at the bottom of this, you know that like little nightstand that I have? It's like half wood, half teal. We've seen it before. It's the nightstand that matches the bed. It's the only nightstand I have. It was at the very bottom in the very back of the drawer. It had like got pinned up, standing up at the very back next to a whole stack of paperwork and all of this stuff. So I didn't even know it was back there. I had actually ripped the whole drawer out. And when I did, it flopped down on the paperwork. And I was like, holy shit, there it is. Like, I was like, I've been looking everywhere for you. I like I'd found a missing child. Like, I've been looking for like 18 months, maybe longer, for that phone. So I don't know where I'll be putting stuff and what be going on, but what are you doing? Nothing much. What? I don't know what's going on, y'all. This is why I stay out the comment section. And I just talk to myself. Y'all hear this raggedy chair? Let me see if I can be quiet. Aww. It sounds like I'm smashing crackers to put in a meatloaf. I'm such a child. Hello. Good afternoon. Y'all, this weather has been crazy. I want to work out tomorrow. I want to go out to the city and work out with y'all. Good day. Hello, big girl. But I don't think we're going to be able to do that because it's supposed to rain all day. No matter where I go, no matter where I look up. Even if I look up like Greensboro, Winston, it's still calling for rain. I was thinking about branching out, maybe getting out to a different city and trying some new parks or maybe some new recreational areas where I can take my bike and hike and work out. But it's supposed to rain. It's supposed to thunderstorm through the state of North Carolina tomorrow. Yeah. And it wasn't supposed to rain this morning, and it rained for like 4 or 5 hours. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. I literally checked the weather so that I could schedule a ride to my storage unit when it wasn't raining. And then at 7 a.m., when it's not calling for rain, it starts raining as I'm headed to the storage shed. And the whole time I was at the storage shed, it rained on me. You gotta be kidding me. And it wasn't even calling for rain once again. And then they changed it. By the time I made it to the storage shed, it was a 90% chance of rain until like 11 a.m. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. That's how it be. That's how it be. You know, you can't plan for nothing. The moment that you do, it doesn't matter how you plan. It's just going to go all, the fit's going to hit the shan. The more you plan, the more the fit hits the shan. That just now, that's what I was smiling about. Somebody sent me $15 and thank you. I was wondering, I don't give shout outs because when I do, that puts target on people's back. We've already been down that road last year. So the name that it's under is your real name, and I don't want to say your real name, big guy. Thank you. Definitely use that for food or coffee. Or Band-Aids. Band-Aids. I think so too. Concerned patriot. I think that Madison is a good place. And you know, I've been here for 20-something years. So the only time I leave is when I've moved to Florida, when I've moved to Georgia. When I had my daughter, I moved and we got our own home for 3 years. Like, you know, I moved back to my hometown when I had my daughter and we had our own home for 3 years. So almost 4. And before the state come in and imploded the home. But I've been in Madison exclusively for over 2 decades. So the only time I've left is, you know, to try my foot somewhere else. But I always end up back here. So I don't know. I don't think it's a bad place. I do think that a lot of the harassment that I get is from the leftovers of society, the losers, the people that are out here drinking and doing drugs. They get hyper fixated on me. They see me out here and then for some reason they think that it's a good idea to mess with a triple felon, and they're looking for attention. I guess attention is better than no attention. The people that have been harassing me in Madison are young people. They're all tweens or older men being perverts or older women who are not happy with themselves. There's these subcategories of people that I constantly run into, and I think that it's because I can see through them that they come after me. It bothers them that I know who they are without even saying a word, and they can see it in my eyes. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. I know. I feel crazy. So it's like 3 subcategories. We got tweens, and that includes teenagers, high schoolers. Do you know how many of those? There's one high school here, right? Do you know how many of those cars that I'll see during the school year are cars that follow me around town? Unbelievable. High schoolers, 20-year-olds, losers who do drugs, that tween category. Then there's the old men that pull up on me trying to be perverts. Then there's the old women that have a problem with me because... So there's like 3 subcategories. Yeah. Ain't that lovely? Ain't that lovely? Yeah, no, most of the people that I've met here have been pretty decent. Hey, Lisa Mahone. Sorry, y'all missed that one. I think high schoolers need to get spanked if they're going to be stalking some woman off the internet. Hey, Maurice. Yeah, you know, that's the problem with these kids nowadays. And we were talking about that on the internet. Wasn't that us this morning, me and one of my followers? Wasn't that y'all? Hold on, let me think. Well, somebody commented on the lack of empathy and compassion in the upcoming generation, how cruel and heartless they are because of the way that they've been raised. And I have to agree. It's really concerning how the upcoming youth views each other in society. They treat each other like crap. They're disrespectful to each other and to everybody else around them, including themselves. You know, there was a man that was arrested in a burger joint for pushing a kid on the ground that was throwing water on his wife. And, you know, I can tell that kid's never had discipline before. He was completely disrespectful. I think he was 16 or maybe 17. His parents had dropped him off at like the burger spot, and then he had met up with some other friends. They're all in there in a booth wreaking havoc on the restaurant. They're being loud. They're throwing water on each other with straws. So just imagine, let me paint the scene. You got 4 youth boys, teenage boys, hellions, in a booth on this side. Then you got another 4 teenage hellions, boys, on this side. So you got 8 hellions stuffed into a booth, horse playing, throwing water, being completely disrespectful to everyone in the establishment. And they met their match that day. One of the customers said, "Hey, stop throwing water. You're throwing water on my wife." And that teenage boy popped off at the mouth. And then he was on ground. And then that lovely, lovely citizen was arrested. All of this could have been avoided if what? If the parents of those children were responsible for their children instead of making their children the responsibility of the restaurant. This has become a huge problem in recent years. Places such as McDonald's actually have an age limit on how old you have to be to even come into some of their establishments throughout the United States. I agree with this. I am actually on the side of the businesses with this. It is not the business's responsibility to raise your hellions. There has been times that I've pulled up to restaurants and noticed so many teenagers either lingering on the front stoop of the restaurant or inside of the establishment, and I will go elsewhere. Y'all ain't about to get me up in some shit because your parents didn't raise you right. I'm here to tell you, though, my grandma one time snatched up this little boy in the neighborhood and spanked his ass in front of the entire apartment complex. How she did not go to jail for that this day, I still do not know. He was a bully. He was bullying one of my siblings, one of my younger brothers, and my grandmother had been to his mother's house several times to talk about how this child was a bully. All I remember is either one of my siblings got hit or he was crying. Something set my grandma the absolute hell off. All I remember is her coming down the stairs. I remember her picking the kid up. I remember her doing one of them half leg up, you know, where you go like this. You like lay something on your leg. I remember her doing a half leg up, bending that little boy over and wearing his ass out. And I remember when I was standing under this tree, I know exactly where we were. It was like yesterday. I remember directly where I was standing. I could look up out into the apartment complex, all of these buildings around me. And there was other neighbors standing on their balconies watching her do this. You know, he was no longer a bully after that. We never had a problem after that. I don't understand how she didn't go to jail, but she didn't. She sure didn't. I guess it was a different time. Grandma Millie didn't play. I bet he's sitting somewhere telling people, I got beat by a neighbor when I was a child and my parents did nothing. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Nobody tried to help me. The whole neighborhood laughed. They did. He wreaked havoc on the entire neighborhood. Do you know how bad of a child you have to have for adults to be laughing at another adult beating the hell out of a child that's not even theirs? He was a nuisance to the entire neighborhood. A little thief, a little hellion. I mean, everything that you could think of that could be nefarious, this child would get himself into. He was the neighborhood problem by choice. You know, and he, at this age, he's 10, 12 years old. He's at the age to know better. But he was one of the children that would be out in the streets till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning with no parents caring about his whereabouts. It's really sad. I mean, you know, it's really sad. I look back now and I can see why he was behaving the way that he was. He had no guidance. He had no parents, you know. He was essentially raising himself, and it showed. Yeah, Grandma Millie was crazy, y'all. I'm telling you. Absolutely crazy. Her and Mama both. Mama slapped a teacher one time. I said, Lord have mercy. And she didn't go to jail for that either. And she didn't slap her in the face. She slapped her on the hand because the teacher was literally holding me so hard and would not let me go and was shaking me like a rag doll in front of my mother. And my mother popped. And the teacher let me go. And my mother yoked me. And then she removed me out of that school after that and put me elsewhere. So things was different back then. I miss those days. I miss those days. Can we take it back to that? For real. Can we take it? No, I'm joking. I don't want people out here spanking other people's children, but can we take it back to a place of like discipline where you can defend yourself and stand up for your children without the risk of going to jail? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy out here. Hey, they hanging out at a Target riding the motor handicap chairs, racing in the stores. You want to? I'll race you. I'd love to. If I ever get arrested again, it's for something like that. What was she doing? She was drunk at a Target at 2 a.m. racing. Racing what? A handicap scooter. Seriously. Yeah. Absolutely. Raise your own children so society don't have to. Did y'all see? I know we ain't supposed to be talking news, but I want to talk about this little boy because it breaks my heart. And he ain't no little boy. Well, he was 18. Out of Florida. They found his body in a retention pond after he hung out with some cousins that he had never met before. So let me start from the beginning. This boy was 18. His mama decided to take him on vacation to Florida, I do believe. Hold on. Yes. This is just so sad, y'all. I'm so sick of these young people dying. Oh, as soon as I picture of him, I said, I got to talk about him, this lovely family. So the son's in the middle. He's the one that's deceased. His mother, and that appears to be potentially his father. So they all went on vacation to Florida to see family and relatives. You can see him on the boat here. He looked like he was really enjoying his time in Florida. Like, he looked like he was made for Florida. Hold on, I'm going to show you a picture in a minute. He's got on American hat and stuff. And another picture I have of him wearing Carhartt. He looks like a Floridian, honey. Okay? Look at that big old beautiful white smile. They don't know what happened. So essentially, all of the family met in this one part of Florida. There was family members he had never met before. He had some cousins that or a cousin that had friends hanging out with him. So it was a car full of people. So it was the cousin, and then I think 2 other suspects. I'm calling them suspects. 2 other suspects. So we have the cousin and 2 of his friends, and then the one guy from another state that come to Florida to visit the family. The cousin says, "Hey, why don't you come hang out with us, cuz?" These cousins never met before. The mother allowed her 18-year-old son, The mother said, "Yeah, go hang out with your cousin." He was never seen again until they found his body in a retention pond. They don't know what happened. The suspects have said that all of a sudden he got erratic. He jumped out of the car. He was taking his clothes off. He just got erratic and took off. Is that what we're going with? Let's see if there's an update. Now, could that be true? It could if there were drugs involved. I'm wondering, and this is so hypothetical, I'm wondering if this cousin and his friends got this 18-year-old boy mixed up into something nefarious. Gave him drugs, gave him fentanyl, methamphetamine, something like that. Now, if that's the case, they'll be able to do a toxicology on this kid and figure everything out. And these people would be arrested for that because this kid died. So, and they can charge you with the death of a person for distributing a controlled substance to said person. You know, if I'm a heroin dealer and I sell you heroin and you go and die, I can be charged with your murder now. And thank God for that. Thank God. But the story, the math ain't mathing. And if it don't make sense, then y'all know that it ain't true. And I just want to be clear that these are all children. I understand that they're 18 years of age, but psychologically, they're not. They're psychologically still children. So sad. I feel horrible for the mother. I mean, I really do. So he's actually from North Carolina. I guess that explains the American flag hat and the Carhartt. This guy was originally from North Carolina, him and his family, and they went to Florida for vacation to see their extended family. This is coming up. Family seeks justice. This was just posted this afternoon. Family seeks justice after missing North Carolina teen is found in a Florida pond. This is out of Brevard County. The family of the 18-year-old Giovanni Pellettier is searching for answers after the North Carolina teen was found dead in Manatee County Pond earlier this month. They still trying to confirm the identity. Can we get the FBI out there? Because they don't know what the hell they're doing. If they have not identified the body that they found in the river by now, then they don't know how to do their damn job. Jesus Christ. Detectives and the medical examiner found no signs of foul play during the autopsy. The cause of death remains undetermined. They're botching this fucking case. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cuss. They're botching this case. They're botching this case. They're botching this case. Toxicology results could take several weeks. They're botching this case. He was last seen on August 1st after relatives picked him up in Central Florida to take him to Brevard. Along the way, they say that he began acting erratically and left the vehicle in Manatee County. According to Giovanni's family, his mother's best friend later found his body. That's suspicious. They're botching this case. Detectives returned to the pond Tuesday. So, let me get this straight. So, y'all found his body. A relative found his body on Monday night, and y'all waited till Tuesday morning to get out there and get the body. Okay. Detectives returned to the pond on Tuesday with their dive team searching for anything that might be connected to the case. Oh, so they did get his body out on Monday. It's unclear. The media sucks. It don't make sense. This whole case don't make sense. And why do you start an autopsy on somebody that you haven't properly identified? I'm sorry, I'm not a medical examiner. I was not a smart woman. Maybe there's something I don't know, Maybe I'm not, maybe I'm just reading it wrong. It's me. So let's see here. Me too, yes! The family of the North Carolina teen who was found dead after going missing while on vacation in Florida is calling on the FBI to get involved in the case, and I agree because they've already botched it. Mama Bear, get them, Mama Bear. Read the article and tell that they're botching this freaking case. He happened to be in Florida to support his mother because her mother had recently had a stroke. So his grandmother had had a stroke. They had drove to Florida from North Carolina to visit his mother's mother. So it looks like they were actually out doing a search party for him. And the mother's friend had joined the search and was devastated when they made the discovery. So this was not a singular person from the family that made the discovery. This was during a search party search that they found his body in the retention pond. When they said that a friend of the family found it, I was like, that's sketchy. How did he know? Do you know how big Manatee County is? It's huge. How would he know where in Manatee County to even look for the body unless he put it there, is my point, So, but now context is everything. So they had on-foot searches. The family has started an online petition asking the FBI to investigate because of what they call a lack of urgency displayed by local law enforcement. Amen. They haven't even, they're saying that they haven't even properly identified the body. They also said that there was no law enforcement personnel out searching when the body was found. Okay, never mind. There was a search party, but the search party did not have local law enforcement in it. They need to get an independent medical examiner. I agree. I agree. So he was found about a half mile from where his backpack and phone were left. The family said that if the search had been done more carefully at first, that they might have found him sooner. The family said that he was with one of his cousins when he disappeared and that he was a strong swimmer. He also texted his mother help before disappearing. How sad. So the initial autopsies showed no signs of trauma or foul play. The cause and manner of death are still pending toxicology results and further investigation. The medical examiner has not yet confirmed the body's identity because of the advanced decomposition. We can't match DNA. We can't match DNA. We can't do genetics. Hey, don't we have genealogy? Can we not match the mother to the son? Like, I'm not a crime scene specialist or a forensic expert, but like, there's nothing we can do because of the state of decomposition. Lazy. They said that the body was in the pond several days before it floated to the surface. This case don't make no sense to me, y'all. Unfortunately, we can't tell if he died by drowning because of the state of composition and his erratic behavior, allegedly, you know, from the witnesses, his cousin and his cousin's two friends. I'm really wondering if they gave him some kind of drug. They said he jumped out of the car. He started acting erratic. He was running around. Where his body was found, all of his personal effects were strewn about. His book bag, his cell phones, they were feet from each other. It was, all his stuff was strewn about. I'm wondering if somebody gave him some drugs, y'all. I really do. I'm waiting on that toxicology. I'm wondering if somebody gave him some drugs. And, you know, psychosis is a real thing. Not to mention, you really don't know what's going to happen to you when you take these substances such as mushrooms, acid, methamphetamine, speed, you know, stuff like that. You don't know. And not only that, but it's gotten so dangerous out here because they mix stuff nowadays. You might buy fentanyl that has cocaine in it. You might buy fentanyl that has Xanax in it. You might buy fentanyl that has horse tranquilizer. You might buy fentanyl that ain't got no fentanyl at all. I really hope that he doesn't have drugs in his system, but it's really one of the few explanations in this case that would make sense. Unless, you know, Lord forbid his cousin and his cousin's friends actually like drowned him in the pond, or, you know, I don't know. And in that case, I'm sure investigators will find out and people will be arrested. But it's a really weird case, and it's really sad because he looked like such a happy kid that was really just going with the flow and enjoying life. Him and his mother had such a close relationship too. He was being raised right, and you can tell that. And it's so sad. It really is. He was a beautiful kid with a beautiful smile and a beautiful heart. And it's just so unfortunate and mysterious. I really hope that drugs didn't play. Well, I don't know. Would I rather him have been given some drugs and wigged out and accidentally drowned, or would the alternative of his friends and his cousin killing him be better? I don't know. He deserves justice, and the truth deserves to come out because he deserves to rest in peace. And God, his poor mama, his family adored him. It's sad. It really is. It's extremely sad. Where's my vape? Oh, there it is. I'm sitting on it. I just ignore people, y'all. I really do. People, they don't have a dream of their own, and so they try to crush everybody else's dreams. I'm hungry. I wonder what I got to eat. Bullied him to death? Probably. I don't know. Hazed him and down. No clue. So the mother even says that she doesn't know these characters that he went to go hang out with. I personally do not know these boys at all, so I cannot comment on their character. So they have sent off stuff for forensic testing to positively identify him. Yeah. And the toxicology. Happened near me. Oh, Cole Thompson. He's still missing. Was he on the Dan River? Benson. The NC SBI has a thing out for him. Oh. Oh, how sad. Christopher Cole Thomas. Missing person. 11/25/2016. Out of Johnston County. How weird. On November 24th of 2016, Christopher Cole Thomas and 2 co-workers took a trip from Minnesota to North Carolina. On Cole's return to Minnesota, he and his co-workers stopped in Benson, North Carolina. Cole was last seen during the early morning hours of November 25th, 2016, near the intersection of East Morgan Street and North Elm Street in Benson. At the time of Cole's disappearance, he was wearing a baseball cap, blue t-shirt, black long sleeves, and a dark colored pants. Cole has brown blonde hair, blue eyes, 6'1", and weighs about 200 pounds. He also has a tribal style tattoo on his left chest and shoulder. That's all it says. But Hey, Haley. Oh, God. There's drugs involved. That's never good. You know, yeah. It's going to heighten your chances of going missing. Thomas was last seen in Benson, North Carolina on November 25th of 2016. He and 2 co-workers had traveled from Minnesota to North Carolina, and they were on their way back when Thomas disappeared. According to his companions, they stopped in Benson to do a, quote, big drug deal. Afterwards, Thomas became paranoid and began driving erratically. This is exactly what I was talking about. Some scary shit. He pulled over and stopped at the intersection of Elm Street and Morgan Street at 3 a.m., got out and ran away. One of his co-workers went looking for him and returned an hour and a half later without him. Thomas has never been heard from again. His family said that they were shocked to hear that he had been involved in a drug deal and that he had been in touch with them by text shortly before he disappeared, and everything seemed normal at the time. Ooh, what is this? They charged people. They charged people with his concealment of death. Hold on. They think it was a police somebody. He wasn't a drug We're driving his vehicle after he went missing. The night that he got out the car and started running, his friends they took his car. In July of 2017, 4 men were charged with the concealment of a death in Thomas's disappearance. Jeremy Bryan Carpenter, Rudolph D. Leon Jr., Anthony Riddle James Jr., and Julian Vowles Jr., all of them except D. Leon, were also charged with obstruction of justice in the case. Vowles and Carpenters were the other 2 co-workers who were with Thomas at the time of his disappearance. In September of 2019, all the charges against the suspects were dropped. They ain't got no evidence. I mean, there's nothing. They have no body. All they have is these men's stories. You can't charge them with concealing a body when you don't have any proof that they concealed a body. So that's why the charges were dropped. The prosecution said they did it in order to avoid compromising a possible future prosecution for homicide. No, you did it because you ain't got no damn evidence. So it looks like Thomas Cole had attended the University of Florida, studied sports medicine, but then decided to become an electrician in October of 2016. 1 month before he went missing, he had moved from his hometown of Live Oak, Florida to Minnesota to start an apprenticeship in the field. You know what comes hand in hand with blue-collar work? Methamphetamine use. Lots of it. Construction, electricians, carpenters, all lines, especially third shift workers. His case remains unsolved and foul play is suspected. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. Let's see here. I want to see what else they have on him. Hold on. Here's another episode. Please don't be a podcast. And they never found the body. Well, if what his friends are saying is true, then he couldn't have gone too far. His bones are around there somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, have they ever did a proper search of Benson where he was last seen? Hold on 1 second. It said Elm Street, right? Elm Street, Benson. Benson. I bet they never even did a proper search. I bet you money. I bet you money. No, hold on 1 second. Now I can't find the address. Hold on. Got off at Interstate 40, stopped in the town of Benson. North M. Okay. North M and East Morgan. Benson, NC. See, okay, I got it right here. So this is actually the downtown area where he went missing. And as you can see, lots of cities, buildings there. I wonder if they've ever done a proper search in this area of his body. Because if what these people he was traveling with is true, they've already admitted that they were there to do a drug deal. And even though he has no history of drug use, you are who you hang around. He was also just moving from Florida to Minnesota. He wouldn't have left Minnesota to come to North Carolina to complete a drug deal if he wasn't involved in it. Sorry, I don't mean to break any heart. I'm not trying to be cold, but I think he absolutely had a history of drug use. I think that he was coming out here to buy and sell drugs and do drugs, and he probably got a bad batch of something, as his friend said, jumped out of the car, went off running, probably injured himself, and his bones are probably laying somewhere downtown. And look at all of this wooded area around where he would have hid if he was methed out of his mind, losing his mind. So, in my opinion, his body's probably somewhere around there. But also, you are who you hang around. The fact that his passengers admitted that they got him to drive out here for a drug deal is very telling. I don't think they did anything to him. I really don't. I think he probably... Yeah, he probably either did too many drugs or got a bad batch. I don't know. I don't know why people go into psychosis. I just know that it's a thing. I think it's a thing. Many layers, yeah. Well, I wonder if they've ever done a proper search. So his co-workers did lie. So that leads me to believe that they actually may have done something to him, because investigators grew suspicious of Cole's co-workers' stories. It didn't make sense that Cole would just left his vehicle and just disappeared in the area that he went missing. The fact that they lied, it shows that they're capable of lying at the very least. I don't know. That is weird. That is so weird. I feel bad for his family. I bet it is. People are crazy. People are so dumb. The reason I just block them is because they're always on coke. Jody. Their whole family has been. I wonder if they've searched the last place he was. Surely that's where the search should have started. That's where we would start, is the last place that the person was seen. So surely they started on Elm Street, and they probably have maps making their way out, searching everywhere behind buildings and trees, like, you know, bushland and stuff. I don't know. Law enforcement. Why would they cover it up? Are they in on selling the drugs? I'm confused. Speaking of which, hold on one second. What? Yo, I was looking up Charles Fagart. They done killed another inmate in Jacksonville. I was going to look up any kind of update for Charles Fagart. If you don't know who Charles Fagart is, he was an inmate that was killed at the beginning of the year by officers at the Jacksonville County Jail. They tried to say that he'd done all of this horrible stuff to himself, and there's no way. He was literally black and blue. He had blunt force trauma to the head. There was, I do believe, that might have been Robert Brooks. Hold on, and I'll tell you. But there's another inmate yesterday that passed away at the hospital from the same jail. David Wayne King, 41, was found unresponsive in his cell at the Duval County Jail Thursday, where he remained until his death. Detectives are said to be investigating the circumstances leading up to his death. There are no reported uses of force against King by either staff or inmates. He was arrested in March for drug possession. The report actually lists him as being physically disabled. So it looks like they're doing an autopsy. Investigation underway after Jacksonville inmate dies at the hospital. Holy shit, here's another one. What the hell? And this is after that guy in Jacksonville punched in the face at that traffic stop. Remember that? He deserved that punch, though. He was being an idiot. He deserved every bit of that punch. Inmate 30 dies in JSO custody after suffering medical emergency ahead of court appearance. A man who was in the custody of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office died in the hospital Wednesday after experiencing a medical emergency. They said he began showing signs of distress. Okay, so they don't know. The cause of death has not been revealed pending the results of an autopsy. So it sounds like he had a medical emergency. He did die. Jamin Wynn. So all I see is that those 9 officers were suspended. I have no idea. So yeah, they said that they put him in a restraint chair and that he caused all of these injuries to himself. It's so far-fetched, it's laughable. For those that don't know, a restraint chair, he wouldn't be able to move his arms or legs or anything. This article will not come up. I get so sick of this. Let's see if this one works better. Charles Fag. Looking for an update. Okay, so this is the conclusion to the investigation, it looks like. It was posted last month. This still ain't coming up. Old phone, new phone. How does the old phone work, but the new phone don't? I'm going back to all my old phones. I'm so done with 5G. So done. All right. So this is the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office internal investigation and the officers that were involved in the incident that killed Charles Faggart. JSO is now waiting on the state attorney's offices to complete its investigations. They're waiting to decide whether to prosecute or not to prosecute. At this time, they're not trying to share any information about the investigation. Faggart died on April 10th after an incident left him critically injured at the Duval County Jail. He was a beloved father and a well-known local chef. And the reason he was in jail was for some petty bullcrap domestic disturbance between him and his wife. Criminal mischief and simple assault. And I don't think that simple assault was against his wife, but I could be wrong. 9 officers were reassigned after they were connected to the case, and they are currently subject to investigation. JSO released a redacted version of the incident report on April 14th, and the exact circumstances that led to his death remain unclear. That retracted report we've read on here before, and every other word is blacked out. The jail incident report from the incident that led to Faggart's death claimed that he told jail officials he was on fentanyl. You know, the problem with that is his drug tests come back clean. Those officers lied. They said, yeah, he told us that he was on drugs. And it wasn't just one of them. It was 2 or 3 different officers in their incident reports alluded to him potentially being on drugs and him admitting that he was on drugs, and it was all lies. No, you're right, Holly. None of those people know me. They've never met me in their lives. Not one of them has ever had a conversation with me in real life. How do you become so hyper fixated on someone you've never met? I think it goes to show that these mental health problems are much worse than what we think. Let's see here. I can't find his autopsy. Hold on, here's the state's office. Yeah, they're not releasing it. Why? Y'all got, look, this phone's still thinking. I done been to like 4 different websites. Is this one still thinking? State's attorney says that the autopsy won't be released. How convenient for them. We need laws on the books. Anytime there's an inmate killed in police custody, that autopsy is to be released no matter what. Needs to be a law. Needs to be a law. Anytime an inmate or someone that's been arrested is in police, state, DOC custody, if they die in DOC custody, that autopsy is public information immediately. The fact that the court can seal that and not release it is very telling. How convenient for them. Let's not forget that prosecutors are on the same side as law enforcement. Prosecutors will be corrupt for law enforcement if need be. They're on the same side. How convenient. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything that's changed. I don't see. I was hoping to see that those officers were arrested. They were fired, but nothing happened. Damn it. I'm dribbling everywhere. Always make a mess. Oh my God. Anyone asking inappropriate questions are going to be blocked. Lord, what is wrong with people? I've just gotten to the point to where I'm just going to get on here every day like, hey, I'm Brooke. I'm still homeless. Hey, I'm Brooke. I'm still homeless. Like, people are ridiculous. They're like, oh, she's drinking water. She's not homeless anymore. Oh my God, it's wild. It is wild. All of it. Everything. Everybody. I'm doing well, Paul. How are you? Hey. Am I going to block some of my own followers that like... My home is with Jesus too, Russell. I hear that. Hunky dory. Thanks for asking. I think I need glasses. What is this? What is this? Let me just start. North Carolina schools are revising their grading policies to eliminate failing grades solely based on attendance, marking a significant shift in response to a rise in absenteeism. You've probably heard an F for failing grade on a report card, but you might not have heard of an FF. The ambiguous letter grade was often used to denote a student who had performed poorly and had attendance issues, but that's no longer the case starting this school year. What? So what does this mean? Does this mean that we just gonna let them miss as much school as they want without any consequences? Let's see. I have on a nicotine patch. The current policy reads, FF may only be used for a student who does not have a passing grade based on content and also has significant absence. However, the State Board of Education is now mulling over additional language to make it abundantly clear for schools and districts across the state. So they can't fail a student for attendance now. In North Carolina, 25% of students, of K-12 students, fit that definition during the 23-24 year. They missed school. 25% missed. They were absentees. They missed 10% or more of school days in a year. 25% of students missed 10 or more school days in a year last year. Data shows an increase in chronic absenteeism since COVID. Despite slight declines in 23 and 24, numbers are still not where they were before the pandemic. American Indian and Black students tend to have the highest rate of chronic absenteeism. Once in high school, chronically absent students are less likely to graduate and less likely to attend college. So they can't fail them for missing school now. But what does that mean going further, as far as... So in retrospect, now we're going to have a whole bunch of kids that just miss school and think that they can just do their classwork and not show up to school at all? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Oh. Yay, more people to hug. California, hello. Hey, Janie. Yeah, Janie, that's a good idea. I should just make a banner with my face that says still homeless. And when I'm no longer homeless, then I'll take that banner down. You're brilliant. You're absolutely brilliant. I'm working on it. In my head, what is it going to look like? What color can it be? How can I do this? I'm on it. Thank you. I really should. That's crazy. Oh, it looks like North Carolina's getting a Wawa. The first one's going to be in Wilmington. Wilmington. Who this? When is this from? August 13th, 2025. Missing North Carolina woman found in a toolbox, dead. Georgia man Zachary William Ramney, 35, is charged with the murder for the death of Candace Aufrecht, 41, who was reported missing back in March of 23. This is out of Lincoln County, North Carolina. An autopsy has revealed more details about the death of a missing woman from Lincolnton. The remains of Candace were found February near Dallas, North Carolina. She was missing in March of 23. Her remains were found in a large toolbox wrapped in a blue tarp. The toolbox was left in the woods about 37 feet from US 351 North, according to the autopsy. The autopsy states identified through dental records. An investigation led to the arrest of Zachary William Ramney, 35, of Blairsville, Georgia, for her death. He is charged with the murder in Lincoln County and concealment of a death in Gaston County. He's being held without bond in the Gaston County jail. Her husband, William, Candace, what? I gotta know more. What is she doing out here in the streets with a 35-year-old man when she got a husband at home? Girl, I'm not judging. I'm just being inquisitive. Her husband, William, spoke to the WCNC Charlotte in April after the identification happened, saying that he wants to continue to seek justice and clarity on his murder. He describes how his world came to a halt when Candace went missing. It sounds like she had a loving husband too. Girl, what are you doing? Listen, I'm not victim blaming. I'm just curious. Like, she was 41, married, and the man that killed her was 35. Her husband goes on to say, this has affected his life, everything, his job, his sleep, everything. You can't even think. The couple first met in high school. Y'all, I'm going to start crying. I can't. They first met in high school. Oh, and they reconnected years later in 2015. She was everything to me, he said. 2 years to the day after reconnecting, they got married. He says she smiled all the time. She never met a stranger. She'd make friends with anybody. Oh, they were separated. Okay, now it's starting to make sense. All right. Though the couple was separated at the time of her disappearance, William said he never stopped searching for her. He still wears his wedding ring close to his heart and traveled frequently from Charleston to Lincolnton County. Y'all, why do I feel like this woman left him and he did not want this relationship to be over with? I mean, if he didn't love her, he wouldn't be out in these streets still wearing his marriage ring looking for her. He says, I would take trips from Charleston all the way up here for a night, go to the soup kitchen where the homeless camps were, and I'd pass out flyers. Sometimes I would do it 2 or 3 times in a week. Well, that's all you got to tell me? Hold up. Wait a minute. Absolutely not. NC woman found toolbox. How did she know this guy that killed her? Let's see. Oh, God. Sorry, y'all. Hey, Christy. Hello, Jeremy. Rachel. Hello, Rich. Happy afternoon. Oh, God, it's wanting me to log into Facebook. I can't do that. Hold on. Ugh. Make me so mad. Oh, it says this is the autopsy, maybe. I think this is Candace. Oh, it's Facebook. Come on. I'm trying to get to the article, y'all. It's wanting me to download stuff. I mean, you just can't even click on nothing on Google anymore without some bull crap. Candace, C-A-N-D-C. I cannot figure out how this woman knew this guy. Why would he have? I mean, there's literally nothing on the story. It makes me so angry. Let's see. Come on, please, Jesus, help me. What the heck? This is for real. Sometimes I just want to scream. I know, he did. Thank you for supporting my channel. He sure did. I can't get it up, y'all. There's only like 2 reports that you can see anyways. And they look like they just came out today. I can't figure out. They have not commented on how they knew each other or why he would have killed her. Listen. I wonder if she was maybe mixed up in some nefarious stuff. I don't know. It don't really make sense. It's extremely sad. She does appear physically to have a history with drugs. And it does appear to be long-term use. But that's alleged. It's not like she peed in the cup for me to test it. However, some people that have used opiates and heroin and alcohol for many, many years, you can tell. Okay. And they actually all have a distinct look. So to the trained eye, it appears to me that maybe she had a drug problem, allegedly. It sounds like she had broken away from her husband. It's clear that he was absolutely like in love with her. I wonder if potentially, hypothetically, going out on a limb here, I'm wondering if her drug problems led to her leaving him, led to maybe some line of sex work, which led to her death. I don't know. That's actually the most reasonable, common scenario explanation, but I don't know. It's sad. It really is. They're not releasing any information. They won't say how Candace was linked to this guy, how they met. There's nothing. And matter of fact, there's only a few reports on this even out there, and it's simply talking about that he was arrested. I can't even find the report from where they found her body initially in the toolbox with the tarp and the gunshot wound. So it's unfortunate. The World Wide Web was designed to keep all of us informed. It was supposed to be an encyclopedia, that was in the air. And it's actually had the opposite effect, in my opinion. Media news history is being erased as we speak. When I go to dig up content, it's extremely hard to study a lot of these cases. I'm curious to know who people like or what people like Benny Johnson or Candace Owens or I don't know. Even Bailey Sarian, which is one of my favorite makeup and mystery type of people, she started that. I wonder what they use to search these articles and to get their content, because they always have so much information, and when I go to look, there's no information. Maybe yeah, anybody know? Even DuckDuckGo, it's not, you can barely find anything. The best place for me to find content is actually the library. Ain't that crazy? Books. Books. So sad. I think the saddest part is to know her husband really adored her. And I don't know what led to her being mixed up with this other guy that murdered her. But history has a way of repeating itself. Her pictures tell a story. Her condition tells a story. Yeah. It's really sad. No one deserves to die that way. No one. Well, a pedophile. Pedophile. Yo, it sounded like it stopped raining. Hey, Aldo. Sorry, I just want to report this to YouTube. I don't know if it helps, but I'm going to just do it anyways. It's part of my job, right? Part of the job? I guess so. Y'all, I'm about to run again. I don't know if I'll be back today. I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I want to see if it's going to rain. They're calling for it most of the day, but if it doesn't, then I want to get outside and do something. I feel like I've not been working out as much as I usually do. I haven't even been lifting weights. I haven't been doing any of my strength training, and it definitely takes a toll on me emotionally, because that is the one thing, fitness is the one thing that gets me through my depression. Seriously. So I need to get back into it. Maybe this weekend, we can get back into it when it's supposed to be nice, because I think like Friday, Saturday is supposed to be really nice. Let me just use this one. Damn iPhone ain't worth a damn. Let's see. Weather. Boom. Pop right up. Yeah, Friday and Saturday are supposed to be beautiful. Or no. Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday. And actually Friday too. It's not supposed to rain till 7 p.m. But you know how that shit changes. You know how that stuff changes. Magical mystery tours. I need to look into some more cold cases. There's a few of them here in town that are interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I haven't been on my phone as much. I don't watch my phone like I did when I lived in my truck. When I lived in my truck, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is get on my phone and scroll. And then before bed, I get on my phone and scroll. I honestly don't get to watch much content anymore. It sucks. It really does. It's hard to get in the frame of mind of trying to take in stuff that you know you're going to talk about. It's a whole different frame of mind. I guess it's kind of like learning in school, because you know that you're going to be reiterating this information. You want to be correct. And it puts a lot of pressure on somebody who doesn't have a good memory, somebody who's been through extreme trauma. Yeah. When you go through a lot of trauma, your brain is holy. I got holes in my brain. I know there's no way that I don't. If I don't, then why does everything fall out of my head? There's got to be holes. There is a leak somewhere in my brain, because I cannot hold on to anything, okay? I cannot retain information like I used to before all the trauma. A bad memory is a telltale sign of a traumatic past. Yeah. Yeah, I need to get back in the mood of content. Oh, thank you, Mercedes. You too. Oh, God. Y'all, I really damn. I'm so innocent. You see how innocent? I saw the heart and I saw the kind words when I started to read it, and then I got to the bottom and I'm like, what the hell? I've been catfished into a bad comment. What the hell? Hey, Kimberly. I know, ain't it mean, Jody? This is why I be wanting to throat punch people. And then they turn it around. She's violent. No, I'm not. Y'all evil. I'm out here ready to unsheath my sword to damn put evil in its place, honey. Don't be playing. So funny. Thank you. I'm trying. But I'm going to run and we will talk tomorrow. Oh, bye, girl. Hey, bye. I'm glad you're doing well. I hope everybody's doing well. And I'm praying for you guys. And y'all pray for me because God knows I need it. And we will probably talk tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be outside somewhere fun and not in a broom closet. I love you guys and I'm praying for y'all. And y'all be safe. Bye, y'all. Bye, Janie, Kimberly, Paul, Michael. Y'all be safe out there. Holly, it was good to see you. Christy,